Why, good morning, yet another morning from Universal's Endless Summer Dockside Inn and Suites. But this morning after breakfast, I'm about to head to not a Universal park, but actually SeaWorld Orlando. See, I've never been to SeaWorld Orlando before, but it is very close to Universal here, so it was really tempting me to check it out. They are currently touting themselves as the roller coaster capital of Orlando, after all. Could actually see the skyline of the park super clearly from Epic Universe. I happened to look at the SeaWorld website, and it appears they're doing some kind of super sale on tickets right now, and I was able to get a ticket for today for only $50, which, if you know how expensive SeaWorld parks usually are, that's a pretty good deal. I know this park's kind of known for their animal shows, maybe controversially so, and typically nowadays I do like to check out the full park offerings at parks I go to, get the full experience, not just ride the roller coasters. I'm gonna go grab some breakfast from downstairs, and then I am gonna take the iRide Red Line trolley over there, which is a bus service that runs up and down International Drive, basically from Fun Spot to SeaWorld and then a little bit past there. It costs $2 to ride, and I believe parking at SeaWorld's like $30 to park. So I'm definitely taking that bus. It'll be a lot cheaper than paying for parking, especially with how much I'm already spending on this trip. I look, and there's a SeaWorld billboard outside of the elevator lobby window.
I decided to go for the all-American breakfast today, and as you can see, they're very stingy on the bacon. You get 2 little pieces of bacon.
I find this area of Orlando really interesting because it's not very pedestrian friendly, and yet there's always a lot of pedestrians out and around.
Hi. Nice. Actually, it wasn't as far as I thought. Walk maybe like a quarter mile or so.
It's like a nice little bus shelter. I think it is shared with city buses. I mean, I guess this is technically a city bus, but it's its own thing, but since it's not really shown on the map. Universal, the parks are about right there. Endless Summer Resort, Dockside's right there, Surfside's right there. So if you're staying at these hotels, it's very easy to hop on and get down to SeaWorld. Yay.
Off right in the SeaWorld parking lot, right here. It did say on the website they're using these news shuttles for capacity to get higher frequency during the busy summer season, which is a little odd.
Hopefully it's not too busy and I can grab everything I want to grab and still get back to Universal at a decent hour tonight. I got no reason to stay here because they're closing at 6 anyway, so there wouldn't be any night rides.
All right. Definitely a very pretty park entrance with lots of water features around, beautifully painted B&M track.
So I haven't actually looked at the park map yet, so I'm gonna do the stupid GP thing of just walk around the park, go, ooh, ah, pretty, and then just hop in line for the coasters when I see them.
Here's Manta here. This is like the main path into the park. So far, I'm super impressed by all the landscaping. You'll see some cool water features around Manta. I know SeaWorld and Busch Gardens have been getting some flack for not going anywhere near as hard with the landscaping and theming on their newer rides, but it's part of the reason why I like theme parks better than amusement parks. It's just cool to have a pretty experience, you know? I still love a good coaster plopped down on concrete, but I'm always going to prefer something that looks good. Like this. I guess the entrance to Manta's around the corner here. And I have to say, I didn't expect so much greenery and trees and just shade around here. Most of the pictures and videos I see of SeaWorld Orlando are around the main lagoon, which I'm sure I will see in just a little bit here, but there's an ad for Busch Gardens Williamsburg under there. But yeah, I'm sure I'll see that more iconic view in a little bit here. But I really like this area. 45-minute wait for Manta. I don't know about that.
Yeah, so change of touring plan. Mako and Kraken both have only 5-minute waits right now. So I'm gonna go to the back of the park where those rides are.
Currently on the left side of the lagoon, so I'm facing the front of the park. I'm not exactly sure what the different themed areas are, but on the left side of the lagoon here, it's all very forested, almost kind of tropical themed. Then of course you have the lagoon in the middle that we'll see in a second, and then the right side is more your like Arctic area which actually I think that's what we're heading into now. Yeah, I don't know where we are actually. It looks like it's very ice Antarctic themed back there. But then over here we just have the back of a warehouse building. All right, so I guess we're entering Pacific Point Preserve, maybe. The map doesn't really show like the different areas or anything like that. So it's a little confusing to figure out what's going on theming wise, but oh, I think I just walked into a dead end here. But it's the sea lion area. That's cool. All right, I did walk into a dead end here, but that was cool. I got to see some sea lions. It is cool to see animals like that. Like, I don't think I've ever seen sea lions just out here in Florida. Okay, going back toward Mako. I think the right way now. It's a nice lagoon here. A nice little view of it. I was trying to get some footage of Icebreaker, and it seems they are running only one train. So that doesn't bode well for the rest of today. All right, Shark Wreck Reef. I'm sure that's where Mako is. But there it is. Nice. Definitely almost more of a, I don't know if cartoony is the right word to describe, but definitely a different design language to this area. But it's still well themed and stuff, so I definitely appreciate that. It looks a little more like Ripley's Aquarium of the Smokies, but if there was a B&M Hyper running through the middle of it. I'm excited. A lot of people say this is the best B&M Hyper. The right entrance is kind of tucked around the corner here, so it's a 5-minute wait. So hopefully that is the case. Trains today, and it appears the third train's getting rebuilt. That's a beautiful station here. Wow.
And having recent surgery or have any other medical condition that might be aggravated by the features of this ride. Riders must be 54 inches tall. Please keep your hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the ride at all times. Loose articles such as glasses, cameras, wallets, hats, and keys must be secured, left with a non-rider, or placed in a locker. Those wearing casks or neck braces are not permitted to ride. Thank you.
Scan platform. Platform clear.
All right, Mako was an absolute walk-on for like 45 minutes there, so I just did about 8 rides. Rode in the front row, rode in the back row, rode in the outside seats, rode on the inside seats, rode on the left side, rode on the right side, so I'd say I have a pretty good feel of the ride by now. I won't lie, a little bit disappointing. It's a very solid ride, but it's definitely not my favorite B&M Hyper. I still think Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia is much better. This one was still a step above like your Intimidator or Diamondback. It's very forceful, particularly on the valley after the first drop. And then the turnaround, I was very surprised about how much force the turnaround pulled. It's not quite as forceful as Goliath, but still pretty forceful. Very solid ejector airtime on the first hill, but then every other hill was pretty much your standard for a B&M Hyper. There's nothing on the ride that feels anything like the last run of hills on Goliath. It's also not the smoothest Hyper either. Even on the inside seats, Intimidator is much smoother, Fury is much smoother. So yeah, I'd say it's a solid ride, but still nowhere near as good as everyone else seems to think it is. It's a really dramatic theater entrance, wow. I know I said I was just gonna focus on coasters today and not really do shows, but the Sea Lion show looks like it's starting right about the time that I walked past the theater, so I might as well see at least one sea life show while I'm here, since that's what SeaWorld is so well known for. I will say it is quite the hike up here. Quite the hike, but hopefully it will be a good show. We have a time down there for some reason.
This section is filled with information about sea lion adaptations. Facts, facts, and more facts.
Facts? I didn't study I'm gonna guess he didn't study either, so why don't you two take this one? Clyde!
Ladies and gentlemen, I am just so excited to be sharing some amazing information about the California sea lion. Wow, great job, Seymour. You know, you look like you are about 5 feet tall, so you do have a little bit more growing up to do. But another one of my favorite facts is that sea lions, they can rotate their back hip bones, and they can walk on all 4 flippers, just like that excellent demonstration. Now, seals, they are related to sea lions, but they move a little bit more like this. But did you guys know that they get their name from their very loud roar? All right, Seymour's gonna show you just how loud he can be. You ready? Everyone, big round of applause for Seymour. He is gonna show you how he can jump in and out of the water just like this. No more? Have you fed a sea lion before? No? Well, you are a natural. High five.
All right, Sea Lion show was pretty fantastic, actually. It's just really cool to see how well those sea lions are trained. Like, I don't even know how you go about training an animal like that. They're smart, though. They're definitely smart. All right, as we head up, this actually looks like a pretty well-themed area. Yeah, we're trying to hour wait. Right, they hold you at the end of the time, so they release big groups at a time. Going down. Oh, that's a cool one.
Easy work, that's that grip. As you glide to the gentle side, snowmobile to the right.
Skin platform. Platform good.
Place under. Time to explore. Place under. slide to a gentle stop. Raise your lap bar above your frosty brow and gracefully step off your snowmobile to the right.
All right, just got off Penguin Track. That was actually pretty good. We'll talk about it more in a second. I think we get to see penguins on the way out. So cute. All right, there we go. Yeah, I get to walk past some penguins on the way out. That's fun. So yeah, probably the best part of that ride is all the indoor portions. It's definitely one of the best, if not the best, themed queue line I've seen outside of a Disney Universal park. It was also very well air conditioned in there, which made it a much more tolerable wait. I waited about 55 minutes on a posted 60-minute wait. Then there's a really cool reveal when you go up the stairs and then cross over a bridge into the station. That's a really cool station and a really cool way to enter it. Something cool that happened on the ride itself, as you'll see right here, there's a point where Manta comes really close to Penguin Trek, and we actually got a duel with Manta. No joke, we were going through that turn at the exact same time that Manta was going through that turn. It was perfectly lined up, and we had literally a Stardust Racers style duel with Manta there. Yeah, the rides have to be lined up just perfectly for that to happen, so I'm sure that is extremely rare, and I just got really lucky, but I'm happy I did. They were only running 2 trains on it. I know the ride's capable of running 3 trains, but I don't think I've ever seen any videos of it running 3 trains outside of when it's testing. So yeah, I could excuse the 2 train operations by saying it's a Wednesday, it's a weekday. Maybe they run 3 trains on weekends, but I don't think they do. So that's just something to keep in mind. The capacity's not wonderful. What is good is the crews, both on Mako this morning and on Penguin Trek here, we're actually doing really good. Mako especially, but even on Penguin Trek, they're still rolling trains, which is much better than the like 6 to 7 minute dispatch horror stories I hear about the other SeaWorld parks. So operations in terms of the efficiency of the crews seems to be decent enough, not amazing, but decent enough for like a regional style theme park. The main problem seems to just be that they're not willing to actually run any of their rides at full capacity anymore. From what I understand, Mako has not run with 3 trains since it opened basically. Penguin Trek really never has. Manta hasn't in years. So it's unfortunate as somebody that likes to see high throughput to keep those lines moving, but I did happen to just accidentally find this dolphin pool. So that's neat. I do kind of like with this park that you could just, walking around the park, you just kind of find random things like sea lion pool or dolphin pool. Also, just the atmosphere, the landscaping, especially throughout this park, is amazing. Anyways, finishing up my mini review of Penguin Trek. Excellent queue line. There's tons of like facts about penguins in Antarctica and stuff around what is themed to look like an Antarctic research station. So even though it does seem to have the longest line in the park all the time due to its somewhat lower capacity and the fact it's one of the only family coasters, there is at least stuff to see in the queue line, stuff to read. It's interesting. Of course, as I mentioned, completely air conditioned. So if I had to pick a line in this park to wait an hour in, it would probably be that one. There's a really cool dark ride section right at the beginning of the ride, which I knew about because I watched POVs of it. But in person, that dark ride section is a lot cooler than I thought it would be. There's a big screen that still works. We'll see how long it works. SeaWorld doesn't seem to like to keep their screens working, but it does. It still works, and it's a very high fidelity screen, even after just being at Epic Universe 2 days ago and seeing those screens that are touted as some of the most advanced screens in a theme park attraction. This screen was still really good. World's largest manatee rescue facility. Huh. Oh, there they are. Underwater viewing? Seriously? Look, I know I said I was going to focus on the coasters today due to my time constraints and probably not do as much of the sea life stuff, but like, we're at SeaWorld. And I keep running into cool things. I'm going to check them out. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's Most of the manatees seem to be over here right now. Kind of hovering near the surface. Alright, I could be entertained here for a while, but I got roller coasters to ride. So anyways, Penguin Trek. Dark ride portion is nice, it's short, but it's nice lighting effects, nice music and everything. That part's very well done. Then of course you go outside. First of all, I must say, it just feels incredibly wrong to be on a B&M train that's 2 across. Of course, B&M uses 4 across seating on 99% of their coasters. That's odd, but we'll have to get used to that because all their family coasters seem to be that way. Lap bar and seat, very comfortable. It's that typical over-the-shoulder lap bar style that's become so common on Intamins, mock rides. Even some Vekomas have them. I guess Zamperlas with Top Thrill too. And yeah, those are actually surprisingly very comfortable. When I saw pictures and videos, I thought they kind of looked like, you know, I was like, oh, B&M knockoff Intamin restraints. They probably aren't very comfortable, but they were actually really nice. Absolutely awesome launches. Some of the most powerful launches I've ever experienced in a family coaster, especially the first launch that's uphill out of the building. That is awesome. The rest of the ride experience is fine. I will say it's kind of rough. Luckily it's slow. It doesn't really ever get up to speed enough for the roughness to become painful. So I wouldn't say it's painful at all, but it's rough. For a brand new ride to run like that in a B&M at that, it's a little concerning. That's the first newer B&M I've ridden where people have said that the newer B&Ms the last couple years have a distinctly different rattle. That's the thing. B&M rattle has always been a thing, but this feels completely different. This is like genuinely rough, and it's like a different kind of vibration. Hopefully they can figure out whatever that is and get that sorted out soon, because it would be a shame if all B&Ms are just gonna be like that now. So yeah, I was a little distracted by, I thought everybody was being dramatic. I was like, there's no way the new B&M rattle is that bad. But it really is that bad. Luckily, it never gets painful on there. You can still enjoy the ride. Ride layout-wise, it's fun, but it's very much a family coaster. The layout's better than some of your classic family coasters, but still not as good as the stuff that like Vekoma's doing right now. So, I guess that's about it for my review of Penguin Trek. Penguin Trek is not showing wait times in the app, only at the door. And that is also true of Expedition Odyssey, which is their new flying theater. That is also not showing up in the app. From what I understand, it's just that they have not coded those attractions to display wait times in the app yet because they're lazy or something. Of course, this is my first time at a SeaWorld park, but just my observations from a distance seem to be that SeaWorld as a chain, I guess it's United Parks now, but as a chain, they're definitely going downhill in a lot of aspects. So hopefully they can turn that around, or they choose to turn that around. And by on the downhill, I just mean operations are getting worse. They're not running rides at full capacity. A lot of the new attractions they're putting in are minimally themed. Luckily, that seems to be changing because Penguin Trek opened, I think, last year. And it's very well themed, probably the best themed ride in the park. So hopefully they've changed that one. But they definitely did go through a phase of installing minimally themed rides, which just doesn't really work with the SeaWorld and Busch Gardens experience, in my opinion. The other thing I meant to mention with Penguin Trek is there's something really odd about a ride that's themed to riding a snowmobile out around Antarctica, which is like literally the coldest place on Earth. But you're doing that outside in Florida, which is like the hottest place in the United States. It's a little odd. Like they have a bunch of white gravel and stuff around to kind of look like snow. Oh, looks like we're about to go over a cool bridge. Oh, very cool bridge. Yeah, so when you're in the Penguin Trek building, it's like really cold because they have it air conditioned down to like probably like 64 or something. Then you launch out into the blistering heat while you're supposed to be in Antarctica. It's kind of funny. This is actually very cool. They have this wooden boardwalk going across the lagoon in the middle of the park. Gives you some beautiful views of the lagoon, all the coasters. Yeah, it's super cool to just stand on this boardwalk near the middle of the lagoon and just look around and see all the beautiful landscaping, all the coasters on the edge of the water. It's really awesome how they've positioned all the coasters and given them what I'd say are complementary color schemes that fit in real nice with the park and landscaping and each other. It just creates this really nice, really pretty skyline as you look around from the center of the lake here. Okay, so this is the other Arctic area, I think. So I think this is like the Arctic Circle and the other one is Antarctica. It's still kind of silly that they're so separated, but it is what it is. All right, first ride I've encountered today running with only one train, which seems to be a SeaWorld staple on weekdays like this. Yep. Looks like it's not too bad of a wait, but remember, this is with one train. Just one. It also looks like there's no Gusto at the PQ point, because they do not have a situation absolute mess. I just waited an hour and 10 minutes for Icebreaker. Just waiting to get a little off-ride footage here. But yeah, posted 30-minute wait, waited an hour and 10 minutes. May not be riding Manta later because I just see it's, where is it? Where'd it go? It's stuck on the lift. R.I.P. Manta. Hopefully it comes back up later. But yeah, so that was my first time riding a Premier Rides coaster with the, I guess that's their like second generation of trains. The only ones I've experienced are like Mummy and then Flight of Fear. Mummy's okay, so Flight of Fear had notoriously really tight trains with awful shin guards, especially if you're on the taller side like I am. Those trains were not made for people that have legs. So this is Premier Rides' newer trains. They're not the newest. The newest I think are debuting on Alpenfury, yeah. Oh, hold on, I'm getting some footage. But yeah, the trains were the worst parts. So again, I had never experienced that generation of Premier trains, and yeah, I mean they're just as bad as everybody made them out to be. I mean, in terms of comfort during ride experience, they're not that bad, but just getting into them, the way the lap bars and shin guards are positioned, there's like just climbing in and out of those trains is the most awkward thing ever, especially if you had loose articles like me and you had to cross that train. Dude, it's like freaking, I had to literally like climb over it like I'm on a jungle gym. And then just getting in, you put your feet on the floor. Again, especially if you're on the taller side like me, like the lap bar never touched my lap because the shin guards were pinning my legs against the back of the train there, and there was literally no room for my legs to continue moving. So it was really painful on your shins. Really hard to climb in it. I don't even know how to properly describe it unless you've experienced these trains. That's really the only way to, you know, you gotta experience them yourself. I thought you could cut through this way. Apparently you cannot. Yeah, okay, apparently the bridge is the only way over here right now. I know this used to be a path. I don't know why they blocked it off. But yeah, those trains are some of the most god-awful things ever to climb in and out of, and hilariously restrictive. Like if, I don't know, I mean, I'm on the taller side, but there's still plenty of people that are taller than me. I don't know how they fit in those things. Hopefully they're newer trains that they keep trying to update their trains. Hopefully they get them right at some point. Also, this ride used to have the notorious comfort collars, which were these apparently awful like rubber vest things. And this ride opened with those comfort collars. They were removed, I believe, last year, if I'm not mistaken. Sometime pretty recently, though. And I hear the ride experience is much better for it. Like I said, this is my first time riding a Premier Rides coaster of this generation. So it's my first time on these trains. I've never experienced the trains with the comfort collars. So I don't know how bad the comfort collars actually are, but I can only imagine it would be worse. Like anything more restrictive than how that lap bar already is would probably be worse. But putting all that aside, what a fantastic ride. It's pretty short, but it doesn't feel too short to me. maybe too short to wait an hour for. It's a decent length ride. I think any more than that would have been a little bit too intense, which is hilarious because I believe that was supposed to be a family coaster when it was built. That didn't happen. That's very intense. Very strong airtime pops. The backwards launch into the spike is insane. It makes me really excited to hopefully ride Top Thrill 2 at some point because I'm sure that's one of the craziest backwards spikes ever. Some of the most aggressive airtime pops I've ever felt, mixed in with some fun aggressive transitions, some decent enough positive forces. And yeah, I would say I definitely enjoyed that a lot more than Mako. I know I'm probably hurting a lot of coaster enthusiasts out there's feelings, but I do think Icebreaker is a better ride than Mako. Now, is it worth waiting an hour for? Probably not. This is where we kind of get into the ranting about how SeaWorld operates things. They like to run their rides, from what I understand, at the absolute minimum capacity they think they can get away with in order to save money on maintenance, because obviously, typically the higher capacity you run a ride at, the faster things are going to wear out and need to be replaced, etc., etc. So here we are. Granted, it is a weekday. However, here is Icebreaker running with one train. In addition to that, on both Penguin Trek and Mako, the ride operators were actually moving at a decent clip. I'd say Mako and Penguin Trek both had good operations. They were rolling those two trains. Icebreaker was horrendous. I'm not blaming the individual ride ops for that. My lord, almost every cycle they were doing the wait till everybody is off the platform before you even open the gates thing. Very slow to check restraints. They had a timer up at the station there, and they were averaging about 3 minutes per dispatch, which granted, not the worst thing in the world, but you combine that with the fact that they're running just one train, so you have to wait the full, I think it's about 1:20 cycle time in between trains even starting to load. So add that on, we're now up to a 4:20 dispatch interval. And if you do the math with the ride's 18 passenger trains, you get about 250 riders per hour, which if you know anything about theme park capacities, you know that that is so awful. That's really only acceptable at like a tiny family-owned park in the middle of nowhere where nobody's in line for the ride anyway. At a major theme park like SeaWorld in the middle of Orlando, that is absolutely unacceptable for any ride. Anyways, heading over to Pipeline here. It's kind of awkward to get to right now because the main path over by Icebreaker was closed, as you can see. So you have to kind of shimmy along this tiny path next in between the water and this restaurant. And that'll bring you up to it. It's a little awkward, but it is what it is. The app says this is a 5-minute wait, but it's also running one train, so we'll see about that. Anyways, yeah, I'm excited for this one. This might be like my most anticipated coaster here. It is the only currently B&M surf coaster, which is a new take on the stand-up coaster model. The old stand-ups were very inversion focused. This is using some new technology for the seats with vest restraints and such, so it's a lot more comfortable. And the seats actually, I say seats, again, it's a stand-up, but it bounces up and down, and it's more airtime focused, apparently just very different. It gets really good reviews from enthusiasts. People seem to really like it, so I'm interested to check it out. The sun is beating down, and they have all these heating line umbrellas closed, so that's not great. All right, of course, right when I got in line for Pipeline, it went down. Really tight on time by this point. Like I said, the park closes at 6, and it's currently 4:20. So I don't really, as much as I do want to ride this ride, I think I have a better bet going to try to get a ride on something else and coming back here when it reopens. I kind of forgot, it's gonna be a bit of a hike back over to Kraken, but we'll go back over there. I never finished all the coasters that are on in that area of the park anyway, so I'll do Kraken, and then if I have time, Journey for Atlantis, Manta, and then hopefully get back to Pipeline. There is also the kiddie coaster in Sesame Place, the Sesame Street themed kids area, but I don't think I'll have time to get to that today. Another negative I'll say about SeaWorld operationally is while the app does show wait times, like I said before, it does not show the wait times for the 2 most recent opened attractions for some reason, which I think is just they haven't updated the app in years. But yeah, the other thing is the app does not update to show rides being closed. So like Pipeline just broke down, but the app still says that it's open, even if I close the app and reopen it. Manta has been stuck on its lift hill for like 20 minutes, and the app still says it's open. Clearly it's not if it's stuck on the lift. So yeah, it's not great. This is cool. I like all the theming kind of around the entrance area though. It's like a cheaper knockoff port of entry from Islands of Adventure, but still done pretty well. It's still cool. I didn't really want to ride this. It's their Sky Tower, Observation Tower, but it seems to pretty much never operate from what I can tell, and it has not run today. And this park's just a lot more visually interesting than I expected it to be. I haven't really come across any areas that look, you know, run down or anything. They all just look kind of nice. All right, this will be fine. We got Journey to Atlantis, and more importantly, well, I don't know about more importantly, but Kraken. This is one of the park's first roller coasters. Got repainted recently to a really nice green and turquoise color scheme. Looking pretty good, pretty fresh. The pictures I saw of it before this repaint looked pretty bad. So I'm glad it got repainted.
Must be secured, left with a non-right, or placed in a...
Oh my gosh, it's another ride running 2 trains. No way. Unexpectedly slaptastic coaster. Much like Mako, no theming really during the ride at all. But that's okay, because that ride, unlike Mako, which is a bit underwhelming, that blew my expectations out of the water. It's got a little bit of a B&M rattle, but not bad. Extremely forceful, extremely forceful. That is a positive G machine. That was my first time actually doing a proper floorless coaster. It was maybe a little bit trippy if you like looked down and really thought about it, but honestly, I didn't think it was that much different than a regular sit-down looping coaster. Yeah, it's a great piece of this park's ride lineup. Just a standard G-Force machine looping coaster, which nothing else in this park's lineup is really that, so. This area is called the Sea of Legends. So it's kind of got this mythological theming thing going on. So of course we have Kraken, who's a mythological sea monster. And then over here we have Journey to Atlantis, which is kind of a dark ride, boat ride, water coaster thing. Of course this one being all about the legend of Atlantis, the lost city under the sea. Unfortunately, Manta, I can't get a good camera angle, but Manta is still stuck on the lift hill. Yeah, that train's been there for about 45 minutes now. Doesn't look like anybody's on it, which is good. But the app still says it's open though, even though it's clearly not. But that's okay, because I'm excited to ride Journey to Atlantis. I love a good dark ride type experience, which is why I'm spending so much time and money at Universal this week. More themed experiences are definitely my thing for sure. And this apparently has some cool theming effects going on in the indoor sections in the building, although I hear SeaWorld hasn't been maintaining it the best, but hopefully it's still pretty good. It is pretty hot outside, so a water attraction will be nice too. Journey to Atlantis was good. We'll talk about it in a minute. Unfortunately, you can see though, Manta still stuck on the lift, so I'm not going to be riding that today, I guess. Yeah, I'm disappointed about Manta here. It looks like a pretty good flying coaster with some really cool scenery. So it's a shame that it's broken down for most of the afternoon today. I am going back over to Pipeline to try to see if it's back open. There's really no way to check though, because as I mentioned earlier, the app does not tell you whether the rides are closed or not. Also, this park does not have general wait time boards that show all the wait times, so you can't check to see if a ride is closed there either. The only way to see if a ride's open or closed is to actually physically go and look at the queue. which is really annoying. Even if a ride says 15-minute wait in the app, it could be closed. You don't know till you get there. I don't see many people over here, which is probably a bad sign. All right, rip, it is indeed still broken. So no Manta and no pipeline today. I do not think I have enough time to make it to anything else, but I'll try. Holy shit, I didn't even know there were that many people in the park today. Good Lord. Yeah, I actually have no idea where all these people are coming from. The park is not this busy. Where the hell? Anyways, that's Expedition Odyssey, the new flying theater. Apparently the sign fell down on opening day and they never replaced it, so I feel like that kind of tells you everything you need to know about everything with this place right now. Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated because I definitely could have gotten one more ride in on something if I knew where to go. This whole day could have gone a lot better if the park had a wait time system that was in any way competent. It's absolutely ridiculous how inaccurate the wait times are, as well as just how poorly maintained the whole wait time system is for a park of this size in Orlando. Yeah, so Journey to Atlantis was a posted wait of 20 minutes. I waited 52 minutes, so Journey to Atlantis was decent enough though. It's cool. So it's a Makar's water coaster, the first of those I've done. So basically it has some sections that are like a log flume, and then some sections where it locks on the track and does roller coaster things. So it's a little novel. You have a cool dark ride scene at the beginning where you go through the city of Atlantis. There isn't really anything in terms of special effects or animatronics, but the sets are at least cool to look at. You didn't go up the lift, you have your main drop there. Then you go up another lift kind of behind the building. You gotta go behind the building and then you go up and then you go into a dark room where I believe there used to be special effects that don't work anymore. And then you go through the roller coaster section and you get a second splash, which is pretty cool. It is a soaker. I was in the back row and my shirt is drenched, so I can only imagine if you were up in the front of that boat. I will say the coaster section on it was pretty dang rough. I was surprised by how rough that was. But again, novel concept. It was interesting. I also didn't realize that's technically SeaWorld's oldest roller coaster. It's more of a dark ride and a boat ride. But it's the first thing at SeaWorld with a roller coaster section. The sky is like black, so that's not a great sign.
Next stop is number 10. Stop 10.
Alright, just got dropped off right here. It should be close because there's dockside, but unfortunately Universal gates around their entire hotels, so gotta walk all the way around. Like I said, I keep barely missing getting cool shots of lightning. But yeah, this is the third night in a row where we've had storms rolling right around dinner time. Don't know why that keeps happening, but it's kind of annoying. Anyways, I'm just getting on the shuttle to go directly to studios now as soon as I get back in the hotel. And we're just gonna really hope this storm goes away pretty quickly here. Oh my lord, that is dark and stormy. Yeah, Charlie coming back was interesting. I guess there's more of a bus. I will say, the coach buses that they're running to help increase service are super comfortable. But that one was pretty much full. There was definitely a lot of inconsistencies between stop locations on their map and where the actual stop locations are. The wayfinding map that tells you where the trolleys are. Like some of them were labeled as green in the app and were actually red, which is the two different lines, and vice versa constantly. Yeah, the whole thing was just kind of messy, I'm not gonna lie. It did save me like 30 bucks or whatever it was on parking, but yeah, just know it's a little bit of a messy experience. Got caught in some pretty significant traffic. There was something crazy going on at the convention center, which those buses, trolleys go through. So we just got totally held up at the convention center for like 30 minutes in traffic. Yeah, the sky just keeps getting darker and I keep seeing lots of lightning, hearing lots of thunder. Not a good sign. But we will hop on the shuttle over to City Walk regardless and see what's going on over there. I might split this into two videos, one for SeaWorld and one for the couple of hours here at Universal. So if I do, then look out for that next video pretty soon.